Well, there's an ecological crisis going on right now in the Everglades. Burmese pythons were released in South Florida back in the early 90s. You know, we've talked about that for a while. They have no natural predator, remember. So they started feasting on everything, and we saw that for ourselves recently while out on the hunt with one of Florida's top python hunters. Animals that once flourished there are gone. Florida's most invasive species.
Finding them is absolutely the hardest part.
Maybe its most elusive.
They're so well camouflaged.
And is surely its most destructive.
Dude, 16-footer!
That's why Florida's annual 2-week Python Challenge attracts hunters now from all over. Any python of any size counts. Each measured and bagged, each with a tail.
Want me to put her in there?
That'll be told for generations by professionals, but also many amateur hunters.
There's not many great adventures left in life for the common guy.
Like 75-year-old Davis Harriman, who let a trophy snake apparently slip right out of his hands. It sounds like you need to recruit some people for your team.
Well, otherwise I'd be turning him in over here.
He is not happy.
It's not recommended you try it alone. Not only will they bite, you could be strangled in an instant if you don't know what you're doing. I'll stick with those coming out of the cooler. You see these expert hunters wrangling these things, and it looks so easy, but this one's only about 8 feet long, and I can tell you, just by holding him here, he is nothing but solid muscle.
Put your hand on that. Look how big your hand is on her.
10-plus footers are not uncommon since they're feasting on a buffet of critters. In fact, the U.S. Geological Survey reports the bobcat population in the Everglades has dropped 87% since 1997. The possums, 98%, and raccoons, 99%. Rabbits and foxes have effectively disappeared.
That's absolutely because of the pythons.
Brandon Rahi left a successful personal training business to hunt pythons now full-time.
If we drove around at night 30 years ago like we're doing tonight, we would see all the things you just mentioned. You're not going to see any of those tonight.
So we're full-on crisis mode here in the Everglades.
Oh yeah, it's big time.
Oh, got him.
And as Brandon's YouTube channel shows, he stays busy. How many snakes do you think you've caught?
Last month, July, I turned in 40 snakes, and 2 of those being with nests.
Jimmy, there's python eggs right here.
One of them set a state record with at least 111 eggs. And he found them here in the heart of Everglades National Park. So as the sky fades to black,
We're playing the odds that we're going to catch one
spotlights in hand,
that's out and being active.
we scan the waterline.
Okay, Amanda, creep on back.
A feral hog freezes when our lights find him,
We'll maybe hop down.
as do a few native snakes,
Plenty of feistiness.
a brown water snake,
See how he's flat?
Not a python.
and this banded water snake.
So this commonly gets mistaken for a water moccasin, but this is what we're trying to protect out here ultimately.
But we see no other animals, as an eerie quiet hangs overhead, interrupted only by a distant frog.
Try to find the high ground,
So we high-step it off-road, and instantly Brandon finds something.
but all of a sudden, look, there's structure.
Inside that structure, a nest. And these nests are called clutches, and when you find one, they're important. Here's why. Not only here's the evidence, these hatchlings are clearly long about their way, but the important thing about finding a place like this is that even though the hatchlings are all gone, Mama will usually come back to reuse this nest.
Kind of cool, right?
Which will bring Brandon back again to save this precious land.
For every python that gets removed from the Everglades, how many native species have we saved?
One snake at a time. And year after year, not only are they wreaking havoc there, they're moving northward. In 2003, a majority of them had been found in the southwest corner of the Everglades. That's that lower portion, of course. Well, about 10 years later, they started creeping into Hendry County and then creeping into Collier County as well. And then look at this. Yeah, in 2021, they were found north of Fort Myers, and they stretch, as you see here, all the way across the state of Florida.
It's because they're running out of food,
They
right?
are.
So they just keep moving north.
They are, and they're running into more development too, but that's the question is how do we catch up with them, and what are kind of the numbers that are really out there? We don't know, we know that these hunts have to continue.
And I mean, is he saying that more people should go out and hunt so that we can try and put a bigger dent in this population?
If you play by the rules and you're careful enough, something has to be done. But they're not easy to find too, as we found as well, because they can slither into the water, and then hunters go out every night and don't catch one. So that's the other problem, is that they're just as elusive as they are invasive.
Well, that was a great story.
All right.
Chilling.
We'll
but
get Paul out there next.
yeah, Paul's going to be heading out.